Thank you, Phyllis. Amazing grace indeed. Welcome, everyone, to Unity of Bloomington. If you're here in person, maybe you're watching online, or maybe you're enjoying a recorded version later on, please know your soul is welcome here. My name is Susan, and I'm honored to be your Sunday service leader this morning. Now I'm going to invite you all to stand, if that's comfortable, and let's sing together our welcome song. Unity of Bloomington, we have a vision and mission statement. I'd like to invite you to say that with me. Now, we are a heart-centered community seeking spiritual awakening and transformation by deepening our connections with God, self, and others. So you may notice what's missing in this part of the service, and that's our transition affirmation. We've prayed for a few years now to attract our right and perfect next minister, and the universe has responded, and she's here this morning. Reverend Manasseh. Where is Reverend Manasseh?
She's doing the work.
Okay. Very good. And now Phyllis will lead us in another song, I Love Myself So Much.
Here we go. I love myself so much that I can love you so much, that you can love you so much, that you can start loving me. Stand up! I love myself so much that I can love you so much, that you can love you so much, that you can start loving me. Turn to your right. I love myself so much that I can love you so much, that you can love you so much, that you can start loving me. Now to your left. I love myself so much that I can love you so much, that you can love you so much, that you can start loving me. Close your eyes, sing to yourself. I love myself so much that I can love you so much, that you can love you so much, that you can start loving me. Put it out to the whole world. I love myself so much that I can love you so much, that you can love you so much, that you can start loving me. Thank you.
And now, a mystical change moment provided by one of our very own mystics, Tana McElhaney.
Well, we're getting closer to that big change a new spiritual leader. 3 weeks ago, I mentioned a book I was reading called A Year to Live by Stephen Levine. He suggests practicing dying while we're alive. And I feel that's similar to what we're going to be doing. We will be releasing what we've done in the past and be open to something new. There are many examples of things that we have died to or released. This used to be a Baptist church. Now it's Unity. In 2009, there was a colony of honeybees that lived in this wall down here between this floor and the basement. They were removed and released. And I already mentioned the pews that used to be here, the big wooden benches. They got removed and are replaced. And more recently, we had a bathtub up here, also called a baptismal. And that got removed and recycled, and this beautiful screen is put up here. Thank you, Randy. So all these are examples of changes that have happened, and we really didn't even notice them. Sometimes it's easier to replace things than thoughts. As humans, we have the left side of the brain that loves to control, to judge, to keep things exactly like they've been, safe. But we also have the right side of the brain that can see the whole picture and able to release that limiting pattern. So we get to watch our brain as we go through this change. We can choose what our next step will be. Our minds are clear as we move closer to the light, to being the light and being the love in the world.
Thank you, Tana. And this morning, our musical inspiration is being provided by Devta and Phyllis.
See the same in you. you to accept me as I am, and I will accept you. I've already accepted you as you are.
Wonderful lyrics. So our guest speaker this morning is Carol Peacock, and Carol has been a familiar face to us here at Unity for about 7 years after she and her husband Wade moved here from their big farm in Michigan. But Carol was first introduced to Unity over 30 years ago via a radio program hosted by the minister of Detroit. In 1993, she began attending Unity of Jackson, Michigan, where she became the pianist. And then in 2002, Carol attended Unity of Ann Arbor, Michigan. And there she served on the board of directors as treasurer. And guess what? She now serves as board of directors as our treasurer as well. I think that's enough. I'm just going to let Carol take it from here. Talk to us about forgiveness.
Thank you, Susan. And thank you for the lovely duet, Phyllis and Davida. I understand that was written by a friend of Phyllis's from Unity of Indianapolis, and it was completed fairly recently. It was very appropriate for this morning. So welcome to everyone here today, including Reverend Manasseh and her daughter Lily Williams, and welcome to everyone listening online. Now I have kind of a soft voice, and if someone has trouble hearing me, just raise your hand and I'll try to move a little closer. As you heard from the introduction that Susan gave, I attended Unity of Jackson in Michigan. For some time, there was a spiritual leader named Stan Grubaugh. He was enrolled in Unity's special dispensation program in order to become a Unity minister. Each Sunday morning, he began his message with some humor, and I will follow his example today. A minister was walking down the street, and he saw a little boy up on a porch. And the little boy was working as hard as he could to get up and ring the doorbell. But no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't reach it. The minister kind of admired the energy he was spending and the tenacity this little boy had trying to ring the doorbell. He went up to the little boy and he said, "Here, little fella, let me help you." So he picked him up, and the little boy rang the doorbell. As soon as he rang the doorbell, he jumped down and he took off running. The minister looked back, and the little boy said, "Hurry up, the lady's coming." For some of us who've been a little mischievous, we can relate to that. The name of my talk is 70 times 7. Many of you probably remember the story from the Bible when the disciple Peter asked Jesus, "Lord, if my brother sins against me, how often should I forgive him? As many as 7 times?" Jesus said to him, "Not 7 times, but I tell you 70 times 7. I decided to talk about forgiveness not because I'm an expert on it, but because it seems I often feel the need to forgive myself or someone else. Some years ago, I studied a book called The Four Spiritual Laws of Prosperity, a simple guide to unlimited abundance. This was written by Edwene Gaines, who was a Unity minister and a widely known seminar leader. She taught that prosperity is not just about money. Prosperity includes a vitally alive physical body to provide a comfortable home for the spiritual beings that we are. Relationships that are satisfying, nurturing, honest, and work all the time. Work that we love so much that it's not work, it's play. And all the money we can spend. This sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Here are the four spiritual laws that Edwene taught that govern our prosperity. First, you must tithe 10% of all the income that you receive to the person, place, or institution where you have received your spiritual food. The second spiritual law, you must set clear-cut, tangible goals. The third, you must forgive everyone all the time, especially yourself. And the fourth, you must seek, discover, and follow your divine purpose. Our challenge and our goal, she says, is to accept that God's good is right here in this moment, every moment, and to give ourselves permission to receive it. Edwene's book has 2 chapters on forgiveness. The first is called The Mysterious Power of Forgiveness. She says, quote, "Harboring a grudge completely blocks our ability to have peace of mind. All sorts of studies indicate that negative thoughts, feelings, words, and behaviors affect our mental and physical health, our success, and our self-worth. An unwillingness to forgive is like stabbing ourselves with a knife and expecting the person who did us wrong to feel that pain. Forgiveness is not something we do for the sake of another person. Forgiveness is something we do for ourselves." She also taught not to judge other people. Another quote, "When you have a problem with someone, it's almost always because they are not behaving the way that you want them to behave. Well, they are going to behave the way that they are going to behave, no matter what you think. Once you accept that and love them just the way they are without judgment, as God does, then you will have achieved forgiveness." To what extent do we forgive, she asked. Edwene taught to aspire to a forgiveness that's so deep, full, and complete that no traces of any bad feeling at all remain within us. This will take work and practice, as well as prayerful consideration. We may need to reframe the story of how someone harmed us. She said it's so easy to blame the other person and so comforting for us to take on the role of the injured innocent. She tells her own story of how she had been sexually abused as a young child and how eventually she was able to free herself and gradually forgive the perpetrator by creating a new story about it, one in which she had come onto this planet to be a woman of power. Her soul chose this pathway. She also chose to take an initiation in the misuse of power at a very young age. During this initiation, she learned what it feels like when power is misused, and it was horrible. Therefore, it was now safe for her to be a woman of power in this world, because she knew now that she would never misuse nor abuse this power. In this process, she said she gained the most valuable of all spiritual gifts, the understanding heart. Forgiveness is an act of will. You make yourself do it. You don't do it because it feels good or because you want to do it. You do it because the Master told us to do it. She goes on to say, practicing true forgiveness is not easy, as is often the case when we make changes in our life. We need to be patient with ourselves while we learn to practice this new habit. It's okay to practice it imperfectly, but do practice it, because forgiveness will change your life. I have a Unity CD that's titled Sacred Elements of Healing, and there's a story told about Charles Fillmore, who was the co-founder of Unity. The story is told by someone who knew Charles well, Dorothy Pearson. She moved to Unity School of Christianity in Kansas City, Missouri, around 1938 to work and study there. She and her husband lived in a small apartment built for them above the Fillmore's garage, and she saw Charles almost every day. Eventually, she became a Unity minister. Dorothy tells this story. One time, Charles was traveling as a passenger in a car during a snowy period, and the car skidded into a ditch. It caused an injury to his good leg, as he called it. Now, Charles had had a tuberculous hip from childhood, which caused a limp of the other leg. When he meditated on healing this newly injured leg, it was revealed to him that he had work to do with forgiveness. Charles Fillmore considered forgiveness an important part of healing. Dorothy then went on to say that forgiveness not only has to do with what someone or something has done to us, but it can also be, more importantly, forgiveness for ourselves, forgiving and loving ourselves. We need to see ourselves as a spiritual child, living and growing, but not yet perfect. We need to treat ourselves with love every day and when there is a need for healing. How do we forgive? The second chapter on forgiveness in Edwin Gaines' book is called Making Forgiveness a Daily Practice. She offers several forgiveness techniques that she feels can transform your life. The first is affirmations, writing, speaking, and listening to forgiveness affirmations. There is an insert in the bulletin today, and I'd like you to pull that out. One side has got forgiveness affirmations on it, and we're going to read those aloud. The bottom of the forgiveness affirmations page, I want us to read those first, and these are the ones included by Edwin Gaines in her book. Together, I forgive myself completely for every mistake I have ever made. I forgive others, knowing that we all did the best we could at that time. I let go of guilt, blame, shame, judgment, and hurt. I forgive my parents completely. I forgive everyone who did not give me the love and attention I desired. I allow myself to feel forgiven and to move forward in life. All right, now I'd like to mention the forgiveness affirmations at the top of that page. So Catherine Ponder also was a Unity minister, and she wrote many books. There are 2 affirmations that are included here, and I have found them very useful in my life. Let's read those together. First, all that I have has offended me, I forgive. Within and without, I forgive. Things past, things present, things future, I forgive. I forgive everything and everybody who can possibly need forgiveness in my past and present, including myself. I forgive everyone. I am free, and all others are free too. All things are cleared up between us now and forever. And the second affirmation together, I forgive myself completely for every mistake I have ever made. I forgive myself for my unconscious behaviors of the past, and I forgive others theirs as well. The second technique that Edwene suggests is, and this is a quote from her, every night before I go to sleep, I ask prayerfully, have I put anyone outside my heart today? Then I take time to forgive myself for this judgment made in an unconscious moment and to release my need to control others' behavior. I come once again to the realization that how others act, drive, dress, speak, spend, vote, and generally behave is none of my business. I take some time each evening inviting them back into my heart space, looking to see what caused me to toss them out, forgiving them and myself, and making a new commitment to be more awake and aware. The third technique she suggests, at least once a year, but usually more often, I do a complete forgiveness inventory of my entire life. I set aside a day and find a quiet place to face myself and my past. Alone and uninterrupted, I mentally go through my whole life as far back as I can remember, double-checking my feelings and memories to see if I've overlooked or forgotten or neglected to forgive someone. I review my early childhood, my parents, friends, family members, classmates, teachers, and then I go up through the teenage years, then to college, then to bosses, work colleagues, and so on. If I'm doing the exercise properly, it can take quite a while. She tells the story of how she realized she had more work to do to forgive her ex-husband. When she did, she unexpectedly received a friendly, positive letter from him with a check for $3,000 enclosed to make good on a debt that she had given up on long before. She tells us we don't practice forgiveness for the benefit of the person who hurt you. We do it for ourselves. Now I'd like to share a story with you that shows that forgiveness can also be a healing experience for the one who caused harm. 40 years ago, I was seated on the jury for a murder trial in Ann Arbor. The defendant was 17 years old when she committed armed robbery and killed a woman. I will call her Yvonne. The trial lasted about 2 weeks. When it was time to deliberate, there were too many jurors left. I was an alternate juror, and I was excused from the jury. When the verdict of the jury came back, she was guilty of armed robbery and first-degree murder. I was very upset with the verdict of first-degree murder because I had been convinced she acted under the duress of the abusive boyfriend with whom she had lived since she was 14 years old. I didn't think she had planned to murder the woman. She was sentenced to life without parole, which was the mandatory sentence for anyone in Michigan found guilty of first-degree murder. That happened in 1984. 15 years later, I was an elected township official in the township outside of Ann Arbor where I lived. I began receiving a series of letters from women in Denmark who were members of Amnesty International. The group advocates globally for human rights. Each letter was different, and the message was the same. Look into the conditions in Michigan prisons. There is physical and sexual abuse. As a government official, you have a responsibility to speak out for reform. I tossed away the first few letters because my duties as a township official had nothing to do with prisons. However, after a while, I thought of Yvonne, and I decided I would contact her and ask how she was doing. I wrote to her in prison, and she replied. She invited me to visit her, which I did occasionally. This was the beginning of my relationship with Yvonne, and we have kept in touch ever since. In 2012, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that mandatory life without parole for juveniles is unconstitutional, meaning that juvenile offenders cannot be automatically sentenced to life in prison without parole, without looking at the circumstances of each case. And 4 years later, the Supreme Court ruled that the earlier ruling applied not only to juvenile offenders who were sentenced going forward from the date of that first ruling, but it also applied to those who had already been incarcerated. When Yvonne's sentence was reconsidered in 2017, it was changed from life without parole to a sentence of 38 to 60 years. Good time and disciplinary credits, that is for good behavior during her time in prison, that was applied to that sentence, and it reduced the time to 34 years and some months before she could be considered for parole. Yvonne walked out of prison on parole in 2018, shortly before her 52nd birthday. I'm coming to the point of this story. Sometime after she was released from prison, she was contacted by a podcaster, and he invited her to join the podcast. The victim of Yvonne's crime had had 2 children, and the podcaster was a friend of the victim's daughter. During the podcast, both children of the woman told Yvonne that they had forgiven her for what she had done. This was a great relief to Yvonne, who had felt deep remorse and regret for her crime. It was a healing experience for her to hear those words, "We forgive you." Thus, forgiveness can have a huge impact on the person who has committed the wrong. At this time, we are ready to move towards meditation. I plan to read from the daily word for July during the meditation, where the topic is forgiveness. And now we will sing the song to prepare for meditation.
We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are whole. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are whole. Spirit divine, come to me, feeling love, healing me. Open my heart, allow me to see beauty and love lives in me. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are whole.
And now I invite you to close your eyes if that is comfortable for you. Take a deep breath in and release it. And another breath and release it. And feel the chair supporting you. Now I will read from the daily word. Mercy transforms my heart and frees my soul. When I want to release thoughts and feelings that are weighing heavily on me, I imagine myself tossing papers into a fire and watching them being consumed by the flames. I keep this image in mind when I'm ready to forgive. I search my heart for blocks to compassion. I turn to spirit within and let myself feel gratitude for my ability to forgive. I imagine tossing my blame and grudges into the flames and watching them turn to ash. I visualize a breeze carrying the ashes far away from me as I feel lighter, freed from the weight of resentment. In prayer, I open myself to divine love and feel newly cleansed and healed. I offer my forgiveness and receive God's grace. I now invite you to go into the silence. Thank you, God, for your blessing. Thank you. Amen.
So now we have an opportunity to practice that first of 4 spiritual laws of prosperity. Now, unlike Edwin Gaines, we're not hung up on that 10% thing, but we do encourage giving back to one's where they receive spiritual food. You know, abundance is a cycle. It's about giving and receiving. It's all part of the same cycle. So this is the point at which we can demonstrate the giving part of that cycle. In giving to Unity of Bloomington, there are a couple of ways you can do that. Of course, we always welcome checks or cash. And on our website, there's a donate button. You can do that electronically pretty easily. And now I'm going to refer you to a couple of things that are in the seat pocket in front of you. Also, what you can put in the love offering basket, there is a prayer request form. There is a donation envelope if you have checks or cash today. And if anyone here is new, we want you to know we really value your experience in hearing about your impressions. So the blue form is for you to fill out. All of those goodies can go in the love offering bag. And together we are going to say our abundance affirmation. Here we go. I am an abundant being in an abundant universe. I am not dependent on people or situations for my good. God is the source of my supply. I always have something to give, and I consistently give it. I expect the best, I give my best, and I now attract the best in every experience.
The song that we're going to sing during the offering is a new one for us, so I'm going to have the music team sing it through. It's very short, and it's very easy. We're going to sing the first verse by ourselves, and then we're going to ask you to start over and join with us. I forgive me, I forgive me, everything that I've been holding on to, I let go, I surrender, I surrender, I'm ready for my change, I'm ready for my change. Join us, start from the beginning. I forgive yourself first. I forgive me, I forgive me, everything that I've been holding on to, I let go, I surrender, I surrender, I'm ready for my change, I'm ready for my change. I forgive you, I forgive you, I forgive you, everything that I've been holding on to, I let go, I surrender, I surrender, I'm ready for my change, I'm ready for my change. One more time. I forgive me, I forgive me, everything that I've been holding on to, I let go, I surrender, I surrender, I'm ready for my change, I'm ready for my change. I forgive you, I forgive you, everything that I've been holding on to,
invite the greeters to come back up with our love offering so that we can bless them. Together, divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I am grateful. Announcements. There are a lot of announcements in the bulletin, so I'm going to refer you to the bulletin, as well as on the insert. One side was included the forgiveness affirmations. The other side talks about the new teams that are forming. Now, I'm not sure what teams 1 through 5 are, and this starts with 6 through 10. But if you're interested in any of these opportunities, Jana is here and you can talk with Jana. Our special need is for the next 2 Sundays, July 21st and July 28th. We still need some greeters for that. If you can smile and say good morning, you're qualified. So please consider filling the role. I'm ready for a change. I'm ready for the change, as we just sang about. And one of the special people in our midst today is Lily Williams. She's making the change of moving to Bloomington from Tennessee this weekend. She's also making a change in terms of growing 1 year older. It is her birthday weekend. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Lily. Happy birthday to you. So happy to Hopefully you'll celebrate many more birthdays with us. Yay. So we have a couple of upcoming speakers. Next week is Davta. The following week is Reverend Richard Brendan. And then on August 4th, Reverend Manasseh Gabon will be joining us in her official capacity for the first time on August the 4th. Yay. All pretty excited about that. Okay, and now let's move on, we're right on time, to our prayer for protection. Together, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God unfolds us. The presence of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. For our closing song, if you would stand and form a circle, and let there be peace on earth. Let's sing it like we mean it.